Recently, I posted a poll on YouTube where I asked my community if they'd like to get into SpellForce free multiplayer. Around 50% said yes, while only 7% said that they are already playing. So this video is for the newcomers. I will show you the basics of how the game works, so that there's absolutely no chance of you feeling lost. If there are any questions, pop them in the comment section, please. It will be very easy to get into things, but very difficult to do everything perfectly. And that is okay. A desire to improve might just give you a reason to keep playing for years. The first hurdle to overcome is the mindset of strategy games being hard and multiplayer not being for you. Remember, not all multiplayer is the hardcore 1v1 experience that I usually cover. There are many other ways to play multiplayer. Let me show you. What I want you to do is grab a friend that is also new and get into this together. Download the SpellForce Free Versus Edition, linked in the description, which is totally free. Agree with your friend on the free faction, let's say the humans, and now you can go through the same journey together. Once you install the game, start a skirmish game against a passive AI by yourself. No friend required for this step. We are just going to familiarize ourselves with the very basics. Tell your friend to do the same on their own time, as in to watch this video, take a look at their faction at their own pace. You'll be gaming together in no time. Alright, here I am in a lobby, ready to jump into the game. I'm picking Greykeep Gardens as the map, which I also recommend you do because it's very standard. We're gonna select the humans as I suggested, and you can change colors and whatever you want. All we wanna do here is to just keep things super simple and take a look at what we've got. Alright, so we're starting the game with a town center, which is your main building. It's your capital. This is critical to keep alive. If you lose your town center in the standard victory conditions, you lose the game. Then you have a Godstone. This is where you get your heroes from. The hero is one of the most critical units. It doesn't matter which one we make right now. We'll just get the Wolfguard Commander. She's a bit of a brawler character. Godstone's now making her. That's fine. We'll get back to that later. Hero is critical because you see these flags around the map? This is where you can build outposts. You can only do that with a hero. The outposts, some of them are protected by these red gangs. They are hostiles that you have to clear, but in doing so you'll gain experience for the hero. So all I'll do right now is just make this one unprotected flag here. We don't need to kill anything, so we're safe there. Other than that, we have all these buildings available, right? We've got the woodcutter, which is going to cost us a little bit of the stone resource. There are several resources here. We're starting with quite a lot of wood, stone, food, iron, and aria for the humans. The resources, the fifth resource differs for the different factions. We'll get back to that. Now, we're gonna want to make some of these resource buildings so that we can actually make units later, make an army later. Woodcutter, obviously want to place it right next to wood, right? That's where the resource is. Then the workers, these carrier workers, will be gathering the stone that the woodcutter costs, place it down on the woodcutter, and then one of the other support workers, a builder in this case, will be building up the woodcutter, while the lumberjack guys that are assigned here, they'll be waiting to get to work, right? Each base has a limited number of workers, so only so many guys can go here. You can change their numbers, see? By clicking here, I just sent one back. It's going back to the town center, and now we have more available workers. Now we want all the guys to be doing the work, and they'll be chopping the trees down. As they do that process, they'll be gaining resources in their little inventory. You cannot control workers at all. Right, so we're just gonna let them do a cycle here and just watch closely what happens. Anytime now, there's a single resource now in their inventory, and they can carry 2 total resources. That is the case for humans, but it can differ by faction, it can differ by resource. So 2 of them get placed down in the woodcutter, and it's basically instantly getting processed into these logs. The logs are the resource that you actually have in your inventory, and you can use them for constructing buildings. They bring it back to the town center, at which point it gets added to your global bank and is immediately available. So now we have extra wood that these guys have gathered, and you see there were carrier workers that vanished into the woodcutter. So it's not just the town center that has these support workers available here, but also the buildings you make. So that is very important to keep in mind. Now we're gonna want to make another of these woodcutters because we have all this stone available, right? That's fine. But in addition to that, we're gonna make a hunting cabin. Now the hunting cabin will be gathering food, and it matters a little bit about where you place it because the huntable animals are all over the sector. Let's take the starting scout and look around a bit. I've just seen a bit of piggies over here. There are boars in the back, and those are the huntable resources in your main base. Now, some of the factions could also be making a farm, which is, you know, also a food gathering building, but it would run out. It would never run out, but it gathers slower, which means that as long as you have raw meat available in a sector, you always make a hunting cabin, you do not make a farm. It's just shooting yourself in the foot in terms of the economy. Now, you can see the hunter has gone to work, assigned to this building, shot one down, but then decided to go to the back here. I'm not sure what that's all about. I probably should do a better job of watching these more closely myself in the future. But yeah, they're just gonna do the same process. They're gathering the raw meat from the boar. This guy has 2 now, that's maximum inventory. It's gonna bring it back, and then the resource will be processed, which takes 5 seconds, and then that resource will be taken back to the town center. Okay, now we understand how this works. I'm not gonna explain the whole process once more with the stonecutter. We have 3 workers left, we're gonna send them there. That's fine, I'm sure you guys get it by now. We place it near the stonecutter. There's not much manipulation you can do with the resources, but in the case of hunt, if you really want to get crazy about it, you can push around the animals a little bit, as you can see. But it's very difficult to do. Don't bother with it. Now, flags. This is where most completely new players get completely stuck. I've watched games lately, guys, where completely new players were playing. They either didn't make the flags or they didn't upgrade them, which is critical because RTS games are basically an investment game. If you have funds sitting in the bank doing nothing, they're not doing anything, right? You want them to do something, you want to get richer, right? Well, in RTS games, if you get richer, you can make a bigger army. If you have a bigger army, you will probably be winning. So let's get started with getting bigger. We need more sectors, right? As you can see, the map is split up into these sectors, and each of these captured flags gives you access to a scouting post, which we want to upgrade. Now, the humans need stone for their scouting post, which not every faction does, which means that in your starting base you're going to want a stonecutter. Please refer to my build order guide if you want to get a little bit more serious about things. Now we'll wait for this to upgrade, and then this will gain us some additional workers. By the way, speaking of additional workers, we've used up all the workers back home, so there's no more available ones. These 4 buildings will take up everything. We're not going to want to make a billet yet, which will expand your maximum amount of army you can have. We're not going to want to make a barracks yet. We need economy first before we make an army. And we're not going to want a watchtower because we don't need defenses before we have anything at all, right? There's nothing to defend right now. The bases can actually shoot, so we just focus on the resource buildings, right? We have low stone, right? We're gonna want to fix that. The humans care about stone. Our woodcutters cost stone, right? So to get more wood, we're gonna need that. To build barracks later, we're gonna need stone. We're not gonna spend all of our little stone right away because we're gonna want to keep expanding. So we're gonna put a stonecutter right here, using up all the workers. Very convenient with the humans is that you get 4 workers from these scouting posts. You can see currently a new one is being created, hence the red outline. This is all automatic. I didn't need to do anything for it.
I'm at your command.
And now it's time to talk about the hero a little bit. So the hero immediately spawns with some skill points. That's why you see it flashing up here. And we're gonna want to pick something active. Now the skill tree is split into two parts, which is essentially two different classes that this hero is mixing together. We're gonna want to pick up something single target so we can easily dispatch of these simple enemies that we'll be facing. These creeps, and the whirlwind ability is a good one. And we're gonna pick up a point of brute force. Now the attacks, these special abilities actually cost a little bit of mana, called focus in this game. There's this skill, which gives us more focus and more focus regeneration, but for the first fight we don't need that. We're gonna invest into that later though. Investing into health is a common mistake that I see. You don't need this early on for your hero because, well, it's no big deal if you lose the hero, right? It does give some experience to your opponent, but you can just get it back from the Godstone in a few seconds, so, you know, it's a totally forgivable mistake. Now we're gonna click an attack move into this area, and we're gonna use these skills.
Just give the word.
We're gonna wait for everyone to clump up. We're gonna go to the archer because that's not gonna get any closer to us. And it's time for a little bit of spin to win.
I can't focus. I'm at your command. Just give
In a moment we'll have Fatal Blow available.
Yes.
Getting a single target kill. Now we've nicely reduced the enemy DPS by just focusing down two of them. And the third one is just a 1v1, so we can take it. This guy actually dropped a little bag, so we're gonna take this healing potion with us. And should we wish to, we could replenish our health. But there's automatic regeneration. And now we have the ability to also capture this royal flag, which we can immediately upgrade. And we're now low on food, so food is next. We can pre-place this building. It will deduct the cost over time, so it's not all immediate. And you can actually go into negative resources in this game, which you don't want to do. That is another common mistake I see. So how do we quickly show that off? I'm gonna make like 1,000,000 infantrymen. I'm just gonna keep queuing them up from the town center. Now I have minus 90 food. That is not very good. If I wanted to try making infantrymen from somewhere else, it could get stuck, right? So if you actually don't have the resource and go into negative and start multiple things at the same time, like let's say we want to further upgrade these outposts to get more workers, more economy, more population space, then you can do both at the same time. But if you're in negative food, these will actually get stuck at like, let's say 60%, okay? And then your base is not completing. This base is not completing. If you cancelled one of the bases, the other one would complete.
I'm at your command.
Going back to the hero, we have leveled up again. So this is now a really good time to put into some mana. As you've seen in the previous fight, we didn't actually have mana available to cast our skills in a chain. So we want that to be as tight as possible. Always having some available mana for at least a bunch of skill uses. Now we're expanding again. Going to the next sector, and here we could make, let's say, the two barracks. Okay, this is a little bit too early for a real build, but we've been idle and gathered a lot of resources. We can do these kinds of things. Now these upgraded bases suddenly have idle workers. We'll just let we'll get back to that. We'll kill these guys first. What I'm doing now is doing a normal attack. Then I do an ability.
I'm at your command.
Then the auto attack again. Then the ability.
Orders?
This way I'm reducing the time I spend on waiting animations between the auto attacks. Now this sector is also a very interesting one. The Godstone. We can connect it to the original. So the Godstone isn't only the place where you get your heroes, but you can also use it as a very nice teleporter, which on this map is great because we can come back to the merchant. Now the merchant, as you might expect in an RPG game, it's exactly what it sounds like. We're just gonna buy this weapon. Again, this is not the correct time to come back, but We might as well, just to show it off. Now this weapon is gonna do a whole lot more damage than the other one. Our damage has just gone up from 121 to 176, so it's gonna help us a lot with defeating creeps. I'm gonna send my hero down here, and we're gonna add the scout and the infantryman to that group. Get a little bit more experience from here, get level 3 and whatnot. It's gonna be nice. Now, these bases have had idle workers for a very, very long time. Shows here how many idle workers we have. So we're gonna take care of that. We're gonna add a little bit of food here because there's 200 raw meat available. Here, we're already gathering that, so we're gonna put down a woodcutter. Now the barracks have finished up. This is where we can train units, and lo and behold, the infantrymen in the barracks train in 17 seconds, but in the town center, they train in 34. So the town center has a building, unit training nerf. Right? You're better off training your infantrymen in your barracks. But if you do have spare food, you can totally make them in the town center. So let's make a handful here. I've selected 2 barracks, at which point you get this interface. But what you can do here is just spam the infantry button, which I'm using the hotkey for. The hotkeys are nicely overlaid on the picture, so you don't need to check your settings, what you've set. Very convenient to use hotkeys for sure. Now this sector also has 200 food, so we're gonna upgrade it and prepare another hunting cabin. This sector is not built, right? So we're gonna take care of that as well. We're gonna not put a hunting cabin here because it's only 100 food. You can do it if you want to, but I wouldn't recommend it, honestly. I'm gonna put another woodcutter. And guess what? We have a lot of resources. We can go to the next technology tier to unlock some better stuff than infantrymen and maybe arbalists that we could be making. Scouts, you don't want to make too many of in tier 1. We're gonna want to go to the next technology tier and unlock some better units. I just rang the bell, and it's messing up my economy, guys. All my all my gatherers have just gone idle. This is not great. The bell is essentially a mass retreat that allows all your workers to go to safety. So if you're getting attacked all over the place, you can just hit it in the sector center. All the workers will just drop what they're doing, the resources dropped on the ground, and everybody will come back to the town center or hide in the respective resource buildings depending on where they've come from. Now, more importantly, you can do this individually in each building. So if your woodcutter workers are under attack, you can just ring the bell in the woodcutter. Problem is that this will stop repair operations, which I can't show right now. But there's a per building repair, which costs a little bit of the cost of the building.
Building completed.
Or no, it's only wood, I think. Sorry, it's only wood. No, it's the cost of the building. Sorry, it is the cost of the building. Anyway, we reached tier 2. The town center has upgraded itself. And that means we now have unlocked the ability to turn our barracks into drill halls. This is not critical right now to do. Why not? Because we need the third resource for that, iron. The units in the drill hall, the upgraded barracks, will be requiring some iron. So we're gonna upgrade our sector with iron in it. How can you tell? You hover over this and you see the names of the different resources. The iron ore will get turned into the iron bars, which we don't have any of right now. This is where the iron is, so this is what it looks like on the map. And we'll just build an iron mine right here. The iron mine will cost a little bit of stone and wood, so make sure you have both of those resources in supply. And this is also as far as the outpost can go. Now the fortified outpost for the humans is just really nice to have. Very tanky, very strong firepower. We're gonna need more iron though. One iron mine is not gonna cut it. Do we get rid of these buildings? I mean, we could. I'm just gonna do it to showcase it. This is the recycling functionality of the buildings, so you can decide to get rid of this. I have enough food for the moment, you could say, and we're gonna just get rid of this. The workers will literally disassemble the building, and take all the resources it used to cost back. If your building is destroyed, however, you only get back a fraction, I believe, 33% of the cost. So recycling is 100% effective, but it does depend on the health of the building, as I recall. And now we can make another iron mine because the workers have been freed up. Very nice. Also, the wood has been paid for by the recycling, which is also very nice. Meanwhile, our hero has reached tier 3, or level 3, and we have more skill points available. We will be just putting that into brute force, keeping things very simple. Brute force will just give us more damage on both our abilities and our auto attack. Now, we're gonna want to pick up some more sectors, as I said. We're gonna use the Stone of Homecoming skill, which is one of the items that's equipped. And this is another way to teleport. Very important to move around the map, but you gotta be careful. Sometimes people will be baiting you, right? They'll attack you here, you teleport back,
Building completed.
and then they have a base here. You might be defending the original attack, but they also have a Stone of Homecoming, right? So they'll come here and then smash you because you have no way to get back quickly enough. You lose a base in the process, and all it costs them is a cooldown ability. You don't want that. Anyway,
That's your command.
be careful with using the Stone of Homecoming. If you can, use Godstones instead. We need more iron, as I said. On the map, you can check which sectors have which resources. We can see now that on Greykeep Gardens here, in the middle, there's a lot of iron. 700 iron. So we're gonna immediately upgrade this sector. And man, can I just say, new players really struggle with remembering to keep expanding, make more stuff. That is one of the most important things to do in SpellForce. So as soon as we are done here, we are gonna move on to the next one. Right, that is the one motion that I really want you to ingrain. Go to the next sector, get more stuff, build more stuff. Get richer, build more stuff, make an army.
The outpost has been built.
Now we're gonna upgrade this again and get another iron mine. Speaking of, there's this flag. We immediately want to upgrade. We don't want to waste any time. We have the resources. If we don't have the resources, we want to do this one by one. But we do have the resources, so we're fine. Now, I said iron is gonna be useful for the next tier of units. We're gonna make a drill hall and we're gonna make a support garrison. So the buildings will intelligently split it if you select multiple like this. You can just give both orders, and the workers will be taking the resources required for the upgrading of these buildings to the building. And then the building can actually make use of the resources and do the order you suggested. Anytime now, the drill hall will complete. And we can order another iron mine here. Let's make these into level 3 outposts, the fortified ones, and add hunting cabin because it's 200 food here. Let's not let it go to waste, huh? Also, these are key bases to hold. Not only do they control the center of the map, but 700 iron? You're gonna need that in the late game, my friend.
Building completed.
Alright, very nice. We can now make a keeper. That's a cavalry unit.
I'm ready.
And it has a lot of health, a good amount of damage as well. We have iron for it, so no problem. We're gonna also make a medic and a catapult. These are all these 3 units are unlocked by the drill hall and the support garrison respectively, so you couldn't make them without it. We're also gonna upgrade this one because we wanna place some academies to take a quick look at those as well. Those are very expensive buildings, however. 20 stone required a piece. Yep, that is a lot. Anyhow, there's the keeper. This guy's gonna come in pretty useful. But what we really need to do is to actually print these, make a lot of them. Right, and we're gonna make some more catapults. The medic will be useful later to heal up our guys. Right now nobody's hurt, but we'll need that later. Once again, we're gonna teleport down with the hero. I know it's not necessary to teleport right now, but we'll do it anyway. Now, another thing that's coming in is that our meat is running out back home. I've been talking for a very long time. We're gonna need some farms. The farm will last forever. It never runs out, unlike the raw meat in the sector, like the piggies from earlier. We will be able to transfer our workers from a hunting cabin when this runs out, and the farm will produce resources forever. But it's slower, and it costs stone. A little bit more difficult to set up. Definitely something to keep in mind. Oh, our populations is done. So the humans...
Our population is at maximum capacity.
Yes.
We need to expand.
The humans get a little bit of population from the outpost, but only from the first level. The second and third level outposts don't actually add more population. So as we made an army, there's the catapults. We are now full. And we need to make some billets or houses in order to expand our population limit further. Then we can make a bigger army. Now these billets, you basically want to put them in the safest spots possible. Behind your town center works. They are also going to cost some wood and stone. And they take a long time to build. So you get a little bit punished, kind of, if you do it at the wrong time. So if you're already full population and you're now putting down the billet, you're going to stay stuck. You want to put it down before you get your maximum population achieved. Now our hunters have gone idle and they're going back to the town center, giving us a warning that, hey, we have some free workers. We're gonna put them in the farm. In the hunting cabin, it needs to be recycled. We no longer have a use for it. There's no food here. The hunters cannot go to the other sectors. So we're gonna recycle this, get back to wood. Very nice savings. The billets are done, and so we have extra population space. We're gonna make a bigger army. Then we'll crush our enemies.
So much to do.
Academy. We can make some flyboys, some burbs. The griffins are going to be very useful here. They cost a lot of resources though, so watch out. This is also where the upgrades are for the medic. Speaking of upgrades, we can put some more buildings. There's also the forge and the foundry. We're not really going to need either right now, but we could upgrade our infantrymen. Upgrades are obviously very important because it takes all your existing units and makes them better. So it can be better than making new units.
Chop, man. Let's get to work.
So let's say you have 20 infantrymen. Are you gonna spend your resources on making 2 more? Or are you gonna get an upgrade that gives them 15% better performance? You're gonna want the upgrade. Because the math just works out better. Now the population is full again. And this is the mistake that I was talking about, right? I'm distracted by talking, so it's okay. It will happen to you. We're gonna make 2 billets because we want to expand it significantly enough that we can keep making units for a longer time. So making 2 at a time is totally okay. If you're a super giga pro, you can make them 1 at a time. That's very resource efficient. So like I said, we're gonna upgrade these infantrymen to deal more damage, to get increased health. The health will go to over 800, I don't remember the exact number. The damage will go to, I believe, 75. And this is a big enough army to put away the tougher enemies even. So we're gonna go and take this big creep in the corner and get our hero to the higher levels. Level 5 is where I'll stop babysitting the hero. We're gonna get some good stuff out of this though. Now this Wyvern is pretty powerful. It has this little chain lightning attack. You want to be careful with that, but we're just going to face tank it in this instance, as we're not too concerned about losing a single unit to this thing. Drops a bag. We want to pick that up always. Don't leave this. This is valuable stuff. And that's a ring of notification. That's going to give us some resistances. So this is a percentile resistance against all the damage types. Now we can talk a little bit about damage types. The heroes always deal magic damage. Infantrymen happen to deal strike damage. So do the keepers. But the catapults, they deal siege damage actually. The arbalists deal piercing damage. So that's 4 different types. Your resistances will differ to each type. Siege weapons are not very good against units in general. There will be status effects in the game, like weakening your target resistances and whatever. You can see the infantrymen, by the way, have upgraded. More health, more damage, like I said. What else can I tell you about the resistances? So basically, every unit has a different resistance profile. It makes them good against different stuff, makes them weak against different stuff. Keepers cannot stand magic damage. So, for example, these griffins who deal magic damage would kick the keepers' ass. Why? Because keepers have negative magical resistances. Now compare that to the performance of a keeper versus keeper, where they deal strike damage to each other. 25% gets resisted. But these guys get 25% increased damage, so if they dealt the same damage, that would be a 50% difference. Pretty big deal. So counters most certainly do exist in this game. We're just gonna run through the next set of creeps, and we've unlocked level 5 as I suggested. So, sorry, we're in level 4 still. So we're gonna put in a point of brute force and a shadow strike. Shadow strike is a teleportation ability that gets your hero on top of the enemy. So we'll showcase it here. Watch the hero jump. There it is. And once you jump in like that, you can do all sorts of things, like quickly unloading your abilities, and most importantly, our ultimate ability. We'll be picking Earth Shatter as our ultimate and a third point in deep waters, just in case, so that we can use more abilities. These skeletons have given us a lot of experience, and as well as a lot of healing potions. Now, Earth Shatter is an ability that knocks targets to the ground. We're not going to be able to show it here unless I go and kill these creeps, which we'll do. And behind this we can go also tier 3, so that we can talk at the last resource.
Yes? On me.
Let's jump in on these guys. Earth Shatter, like an ultimate ability, unlocked in level 5 only. You can do that. Now you can do this to an entire army, much larger than what we've got on the screen right now for us. And like I said, the victory condition of the game is to destroy the enemy capital. We're not gonna do that right away because, like I said, I wanted to show you the last resource type. And we need to upgrade this base for it because this has Aria. This is also going to have Aria. We're gonna get rid of this hunting cabin so we can do it faster. So important to keep all your bases upgraded, by the way. So we've run out of meat. We're gonna make a farm. This is not a fortified outpost. It should have been. This is a flag. We have resources. We should upgrade it. Grow bigger. Go stronger. This one is actually a frontier outpost, but I have 3 buildings, which means I don't have enough workers. By upgrading my sectors, I gain more workers. I gain more economy. I can make a bigger army. The amount of barracks I built, by the way, it's not enough. I should have a little bit more by now, even though I have the academies. I should have 5 or 6.
Building completed.
I'm gonna recycle this. We're gonna get a wood cutter. And here, I'm gonna keep upgrading. And tier 3 in the city center should be done very soon. It takes a long time. So we'll use this opportunity to actually come back with our hero. And by the way, I failed to mention that this teleportation with the Stone of Homecoming, it brings all your guys back near your hero. Has a pretty big radius. Now, we have a lot of gold because we've killed a lot of creeps. We're gonna buy this armor. Generally a very good pick every time. What else we will do is... we'll pick the potions. I think that's also a very, very standard move that you very rarely will regret. It's very important to remember to actually exchange these. You can just right click or drag into the slot, just like in an ARPG game. Everything's working as intended. Now we've significantly increased the tankiness of this here. The armor plus the ring together add 40%, 35 and 45% armor respectively to the different types.
We move as a pack.
Pretty big deal.
Awaiting your orders.
And we can get back real quick to the God Zone. Alright, now tier 3 is unlocked and we've got a very fancy citadel. The base itself gets stronger. It doesn't gain more workers. It gains a lot of damage though. And the most important thing it allows us to do is upgrade our fortified outposts into border fortresses, giving us 4 more workers. It's pretty expensive, but totally worth the cost considering what it does. We're gonna add even more iron mines to both as they're upgrading. And here, tier 3 stuff is unlocked, so we can now make Aria distilleries, which is used for the last resource type. It just an advanced resource like iron will be used for advanced units. This base also gives you iron ore, so pretty important to secure this one. We're gonna gather both aria and iron from here. And we've got this base. Also, let's upgrade this to border fortress. Let's put some aria distillery here, at least the one. We're not gonna recycle our academies or the woodcut. There's only 200 aria here, so the one will just do fine. There's no aria here. So these two bases are critical. The map's symmetric, by the way, so there's more in this sector and more in this sector, should you want it. One more thing we can do now is actually make a market.
There's hardly anything left.
The market can convert different resources into each other. So what we'll do is, because the wood is starting to run a little low, we'll take one of these woodworkers and just transfer it to the market, which only requires one. What else can we talk about? We'll make some of these high tier units. The mentalist is available, the flag bearer is available. It's gonna cost a lot of aria, and the distilleries are still being made. We're gonna make a third distillery. The distilleries are really big, so I actually didn't place them very well. We're gonna make an iron mine instead, because it will be easier for the workers to travel. You don't want to place the distillery, let's say, back here where the iron mines are, because then the workers will have to go to the aria spot, then they have to go back to the distillery, then they have to go back to the base. So you don't want to do stuff like that. Anyway, I think we have a pretty good understanding of the faction now. We'll allow these units to finish, and then we'll destroy the enemy base. We've got the flag bearer, who will use its aura to increase the resistances of nearby allies by 15%. But there is a limit on this. It doesn't affect everybody. So that is something to keep in mind. You can also swap it to an attack mode, where it will increase the attacks instead by 20%. Very useful stuff, especially on catapults or high damage units like the hero.
Just give the word.
Very impactful indeed. Now, the mentalist is just a magic damage range unit, so it's, you know, that's pretty useful, because there's a lot of units in the game that have negative magic resistance. So these guys, just by their nature of having magic damage and then getting boosted by the flag bearer, are just really nice damage dealers. They also can be upgraded to slow targets. So we're not gonna need that right now,
Yes?
because we will just go and destroy that base. Now that you have this level of understanding, it should be very easy for you to jump into the game and defeat an easy AI even, but I still want you to just jump in and repeat this exact process. Just take a look at everything, read everything, what it does, and try to memorize what these units are, what the buildings are, what they do, and then jump into a real skirmish where you will have an AI that fights back. Once you have made a little bit of everything and gotten a feel for it, this Kalrak is about to be destroyed pretty good. Now that belongs to the Orc faction, which I'm not gonna cover in this video. Now we're gonna go up against the easy AI. I still play humans. Whoops, don't switch positions. And let's put everything together. So we're gonna make the hero, we're gonna make the hunting cabin, we're gonna make the woodcutter, both of them, and the stonecutter. We're gonna not put people in the stonecutter.
She's the fastest we have.
And once the idle units start to show up, the idle workers, then we will put them in. Because we only need the 5 stone to make the next sector, right? That's totally fine. We're gonna do these abilities just like before. Fatal Blow, Whirlwind, and Brute Force.
Just give the word.
And we're gonna occupy this one outpost there. I like doing things like control grouping my town center and rallying to the hero.
Queen has placed
Building
her trust.
completed.
There's, by the way, a detailed build order guide that I made for this, but I want to show you guys
Queen has placed
what it looks like when I do it myself. In this loose live format.
I ride the hero.
Just give the word.
Give you guys a little bit of confidence. It's not that difficult. Alright, a little bit of spin to win. An auto attack or two. We're gonna finish that one
Just
off.
give the word.
We're gonna punch this one.
We shall shall hound them to the last man.
sectors upgrading, and the stonecutter is coming in.
Orders?
Our heroes grew stronger.
We're gonna want to remember the pick-me-up.
This brings us closer to victory.
And let's get some deep waters for our focus.
Outpost has been built.
This
We've
royal
expanded
flag we're
our
gonna
borders.
skip for the moment. We're gonna just go to the next one.
Victory.
We can take our scout with us. We have a little bit of food available, so we're gonna also make an
We
infantryman.
need more food.
And see, this is actually a very important thing. Remember what I said about RTS games are like investing. And you want to spend your resources so that they can make stuff back for you. And
Yes?
make you more
Through
back
here.
in the end. Well, that is exactly what I'm doing. I'm trying to keep near zero
The queen has placed
so
her
that
trust-
everything is invested and will be making me returns soon. We're gonna do a spin to win. This is not financial advice.
For the queen!
I'm gonna punch these down real good.
Give the word.
And the stones should be coming in now. We have an idle worker here. See? So we're occupying the stonecutter. We needed the other resources first. That's totally fine.
It will be done.
However,
This
there's
brings us
also
closer to
stonecutters
victory.
here, which have also been already trained by the scouting post. So stone is about to come in. We're gonna make this a scouting post. We're gonna take one of these
This brings us
iron
closer to
sectors.
victory.
connected god stones. The infantryman should probably just come back.
I am at your command.
Made him a little bit late.
The outpost
Let's
has been
get
built.
another
We've
infantryman,
expanded our borders.
and we'll teleport onto this woodcutter. Then we'll grab everyone with this button, and whatever your hotkey is for that.
Victory is at hand.
And we'll take these back creeps. Why? Why the ones in the back? Because they're easy. The ones with the skull are easy. The ones with an angry skull are more difficult. The ones with the super angry skull are giga difficult.
Orders?
So you're gonna want to do them exactly in the difficulty order.
Our heroes grew stronger.
There we go. And we can add some more brute force to our hero.
Yes?
The sector's done here meanwhile. And we're gonna put a woodcutter now. Oh, sorry, no. This is gonna be a hunting cabin. Let's exhaust those 100
On me.
food real quick, and then we'll swap it to something else later. We're gonna turn this, however, into a wood gathering sector. So see, because we only went into -2 resources, we can afford
Queen has placed her trust in us.
to keep spending
We shall
like
hound
that.
them to the last man.
Once we have a little bit of food, we're gonna start another sector upgrade up here to secure the flag with the iron there.
Food.
I ride with hero.
Just give the word.
Now we're gonna try to pull a few of these guys out of their leash zone so that we can...
Placed her trust in us.
So a lot of them will go back to where they came from. But we're gonna fight these 2 or 3 guys because it's easier to fight 2 or 3 guys than it is to fight 5 guys, right?
We need more food.
This is almost upgraded now. We're gonna put a hunting cabin there because we had a lot of wood available. Now you'll notice we'll have a lot of stone suddenly.
Our heroes grew
We will use
stronger.
that very soon. Put the 4th point into brute force now that our hero is leveled up again, as well as shadow strike.
Building completed.
And see, one by one, these guys aren't all that scary. Teleport in there. And we're done. The beautiful thing about this is that by the time we get here,
Building completed.
our cooldown is back for the Stone of Homecoming, and we can come home and get some merch. We're gonna upgrade this and put down 2 of the barracks, spending our stone in the process. See, 24 stone just spent. We are very close to 0 resources. Now hero can buy both the armor and the weapon. Absolutely amazing. We are on 0 gold. A perfect investment once again. I wish my portfolio looked like this. More financial advice jokes, yes.
Yes?
Where
We
to?
move as a
And we're not done. We're not done with the creeping. And we're gonna make
For the crown.
things a little bit more efficient. The Godstone is now rallying to the hero. Any unit we send through the Godstone from the town center, let's say, with this infantryman production, they'll immediately follow the hero. Very nice. We're gonna save these infantrymen. We don't want them to die, right?
Yes?
We're gonna pull back actually a little bit. And now that the barracks are getting
Our
populated
provisions are running
with
low.
units, we're
We
gonna
need more food.
start to train there. We need more food, they say. We're gonna get more food.
Orders?
Need scouting?
Alright, they can whack our barracks, which is great because then I can show the repair, which is gonna cost more and more wood,
She's the fastest.
depending on how damaged your building is.
I am at your command.
You also must have noticed we took down the big
Through here.
skeleton first because
Victory
it
is at
actually
hand.
boosted the others, gave them more armor, so taking it down first
I ride with hero.
gives us a little bit of benefits. We need healing. Let's do the healing potion. And suddenly our hero is quite healthy, looking good. Let's take down these skellies.
Queen has placed her trust in us.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy. By the way, the quick pickup on our
She's the
on our
fastest.
potions that I've been doing,
Just give the
that
word.
is with spacebar. I think we also can go tier
Our
2
provisions are
here,
running low.
as we
need more
have all the
food.
resources for it except food. The food is a little bit in negative, so we're gonna want to be
This
careful
brings
with
us
that,
closer to victory.
but not too negative at the same time. Level 5 is achieved as we destroy these creeps, and we are close enough to resource-wise to everything that we can just make another hunting
I am at
cabin
your command.
here. So as you can see, base after base after
on,
base
this
after
way.
base, we are
Where to?
expanding, we are making more resources, resource buildings, and so on, making army after. Now we're gonna get Earth Shatter level 2, and we're gonna get, Earth Shatter level 1, there's only one level, and we're gonna also apply Shadow Strike level 2, because Shadow Strike level 2 brings with it a 28% slowing effect. Very important if you want to get on top of enemy heroes. Now, one thing I've neglected as we've gone to tier 2,
Building completed.
which just finished, is I didn't pre-upgrade this sector. I should have. And now this iron mine is ready to go right away. We're gonna make some more infantrymen from both the city
Our
center
provisions are
and the
running low.
barracks.
We need more food.
And we can go after the big bad. The Wyvern right there. So we're gonna split up our guys a little bit.
Orders?
Make sure it casts
Commander.
anytime now.
We're being attacked.
There's the lightning attack. Now everybody can come in. We're under attack a little bit, but it's only one enemy. No worries.
Building completed.
I'm gonna smash this bad boy. Even these Wyverns can actually be kind of stunned. We're gonna need both of the potion types. So we're gonna need to bonk this guy down. Some of the infantrymen are getting very weak. We gotta be careful about these lightning attacks. Let's allow no more to happen.
Our heroes grew stronger.
Otherwise we're gonna have to get sweaty and do some micro.
The outpost is
Pulling the
rebuilt.
guys
We've
back.
expanded our borders.
Focus ring. Very nice. Gonna give us 5 focus for free. We're gonna upgrade this base, and you can see 46 out of 50. That's bad. We need to build billets. We need billets a minute ago. Because now we're full population. We're gonna make 2, as I suggested. We didn't do this perfectly. Now, it's a very low likelihood that we can.
Our
But let's
population is
see
at maximum
if we
capacity.
teleport across.
We need to expand.
Can we steal these creeps? Even more gold, even more hero experience, even more hero power. Look at this. We are at brute force, full wheel, level 6, 60% increase to our hero attack damage and ability damages. Absolutely sick.
On me.
And we're gonna go even further.
Orders? This brings
Our
us
army is
closer
big
to
enough to
victory.
defeat the creeps by themselves.
Being attacked.
We don't need the hero, but the hero needs to be nearby to gain the experience.
Follow.
So that's an important part. Is that all the bags there are? Looks like. Anyway, we move on. We poke the enemy. See what we can do there. This base can be upgraded further, and we'll get more iron mines, splitting them between the 2 locations. Then there's this one. There's iron here. We'll make iron. There's iron here. We'll make more iron. We'll upgrade the base every time so that we get 4 more workers to assign.
Placed her trust in us. I am at your command.
Now you can do this.
The outpost is
Okay, I'm
rebuilt.
speeding up a
We've
bit
expanded
here,
our borders.
but believe me, you do this 10, 20 times, you're gonna do it faster than me.
Building completed.
I am not going too hard right now, and you can definitely do this. Okay, putting down some additional barracks. You could say this is a questionable placement. Why? Because this one sector is going to cover all of it. Right, if I lose this sector, all these barracks would be unpopulated. The workers would go away. and I would no longer have access to them. This is a risky placement, but we'll do it. We're a little bit low on wood, so you can see now both of my barracks are stuck. This is something that I didn't mention earlier in this video. Or I did mention it, but I didn't show it. Now we're waiting for the wood. See, if I cancel this, then the wood would go to the other barracks. So we'll actually show that. We're gonna cancel this. Look at all this wood. It's going back to the base and then to the other barracks. Now we have the wood again, so I'm just gonna uncancel this, and the workers can bring back the additional wood. Hunt is done, so we're gonna recycle that, get the wood from this hunting cabin, and then guess what? More wood color. Very good. So easy AI, not very challenging, is it? It's not putting up a lot of resistance just yet. If you have an army like this, I think you can just go and kill him. But just in case, let's upgrade these barracks. Some drill halls, some support garrisons, half-half. We're gonna make a bunch of keepers, a bunch of catapults.
Where to?
And we found Scrapper, that's an important unit for the trolls. If you see them, kill them. Very expensive. They are just flags. Trolls haven't upgraded anything, just like I see the new players haven't been doing. We're gonna take these sectors. We're gonna build here, just like you guys should. See, we have the resources, kind of. So we're gonna use them. Even those buildings were pretty expensive. We're gonna make keepers, we're gonna make catapults. A little low on wood, a little low on iron, but it will eventually come together. And this is where we will be rallying. The city center can make some infantrymen. And there's the first base that we will destroy. We will actually just go hard for the middle of the base, because if that's destroyed, all these buildings go idle. And that's another very important mechanic that I didn't get to show in the first part of this video, because there was nothing that the AI actually built. It was a passive AI. So this is why the easy AI is an important next step. We're gonna take this over. The destroyed base drops some resources. You can pick this up with the hero, or you can just upgrade the scouting post, and then the workers coming out of the scouting post will do that. Now here's the thing. As these buildings get blown up, they also leave some resources on the ground. Look at that. There's some wood. There is some stone in that little bucket, right? And we'll wait for these workers to pop out. It's too much work to click these with your hero. Just let the workers do it. Your hero is here for fighting mostly. Let's get everyone out of the way so we can see. See? All these workers getting popped out. These are carrier workers. You can't actually instruct them to gather resources, but they will pick up the leftover resources left on the ground, which are already gathered or destroyed from buildings. So if you take over a base, you build a scouting post, and you hoover up all these resources automatically. That's all it takes. I didn't do anything. I just destroyed the base, the buildings, upgraded this, the rest did itself, and now we are rich.
I'm at your command.
Alright, time to destroy this. We want a bigger army, we make more billets. Remember, get the hotkey for jumping between bases. For me it's H, but you can change it, and then you can check each base what status it's in. I'm using the hotkey to upgrade everything.
We need to gather more wood, Commander.
And we could afford almost all of that. Now, there's a busy base.
We shall pound them.
We'll have a lot of idle workers by the end of this.
The Queen has placed her trust
And what you can do is also remember hotkey for idle workers. While we destroy this main, I will use the hero to jump in with Shadow Strike and do an Earth Shatter to stun them, spin to win, single target attack, focus fire with the Arbalist on the hero, he'll go down. All these bases, we can put some buildings down at each, but the base is destroyed. They lost everything, and we win the game because capital destruction victory condition, right? Now, what I want you to do next, after you've beaten your easy AI, now you grab your buddy that I mentioned at the very beginning. And now, what I want you to do is go for one of the 2v2 maps, one of the, well, it doesn't have to be 2v2, it's 4-player maps. Scroll. Let's say Jungle Crossroads. It's a very standard one that people pick. And then you add 2 easy AIs, right? And now you get social. You put these AIs on the same team, and then I'll add an AI. We'll pretend that's my friend. I didn't schedule anybody to join me, and we're both humans, right? As we've agreed, that's our thing. We'll make some nice color differences here. Pink and red are the enemy, and then we're together. And then you do this together, make something social out of it. Jump on a Discord voice chat, and then once you're comfortable, you level up. You go up against the normal AI next. Then you do the hard AI, and so on and so forth. I'm not sure you really need to beat the insane AI. They are really, really heavily cheating. But you beat the hard AI, or even get close with the very hard AI. I think the experience is not as good against those two. At that point, what you want to do is either join the official Discord or my one, where there are channels for looking for games. You tag the people that you want to tag, which in my Discord's case, we are separating it by skill. So let's say you want to tag the beginner SpellForce 3 players, which are very appropriate if you just finished your AI fighting journey. Then you do this process with them, right? Instead of playing against AI, you will put in the humans as your opponent. You and your buddy versus 2 of the guys from the Discords. That is the way you really get into the multiplayer. And there's other ways to play multiplayer too. You can play the campaign as co-op, right? But I still want you to do the basic step of at least taking a look at your faction against a passive AI and smacking their base, right? At least do that step before you jump into the campaign, because there is no tutorials. So that will give you a basic understanding of how to do things. You will not be getting stuck in the campaign when there's an RTS mission. You will understand everything. There's also the journey mode, which you can very easily jump into. People are playing there right now, even as co-op. It's like campaign, but you can make your completely unique hero, and then hire mercenaries. And then there's the arena mode, which is basically a wave survival thingy with leaderboards. Alright, what you don't want to do, I think right now at least, is matchmaking, because the population is a little bit low for that. You're gonna want to go into custom games, but let's see if we can build this up. Like I said, join the Discord, and I will see you in the next video. Let's see what kind of comments we get on this one. I'll be very happy to answer any questions you have about SpellForce 3, and I'll see you in the next one. Also, check out my other guides.